Okay, we are looking at study link 7.8 here, and this is for 4th grade everyday math, and we are trying to find equivalent fractions for decimals. So we're connecting decimals to fractions now. And hopefully at this point, you can just read these decimals, and it's going to give you your first answer if you just straight up read them. So 0.20 is the same as saying 20 hundredths. So that would be written like this. And this place here is the tenths place, so that would be read as 6/10. And you could write that just like that. Now, how do we get other forms or equivalent fractions? Well, we can do that by reducing it. So let's just say I want to divide both these by 10/10, so I'm dividing it by a form of 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2, 100 divided by 10 is 10. So another form of 20 hundredths is 2/10. Same thing. I can reduce that further because both of those are divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 10 divided by 2 is 5, so 1/5 is another version. And you could go the other way. You can multiply 1/5 by a version of 1. So if I multiplied it by 3/3, I would have 3/15, and that would be another version of the same one. So down here we have 6/10, and 6/10 again, you can reduce that further. So how would I reduce 6/10? I would divide it by 2 halves, and it's going to give me 3/5, like that. And now, can you take 3/5 the other way? So 3/5 times something over something that's the same, and what could you do? You could multiply it by 5/5 or 100 hundredths, or anything you want, really. So if we look at the one on the bottom, 7.75 is the same as 75 hundredths. And then how would you reduce that? Well, you could divide it by, both of those are divisible by 5, so you could divide it by 5/5. They're also both divisible by 25. So if you know how to multiply or divide by 25, you could get another fraction for that one. And then down here we're doing the opposite. So now we are writing a decimal for each fraction. So how would you read this one here? This is 3/10. To write that as a decimal, put your decimal point, and a 3 goes in the tenths place. Same thing here, 63 hundredths. So put your decimal point, and the 63 hundredths would go there, right? The next one I think you can do, okay, 2/5, this is an interesting one. Let's have a look here. 2/5 is a problem because it needs to be in tenths or hundredths. So what will we multiply 2/5 by to get it into tenths? Well, 5 times what is 10? That would be 2, so 2 halves. And now, hopefully, you can take this 4/10 and write that in decimal form for this next one. Couple more here. This is asking you to shade in this square. So if this square is 1 whole, we're looking for decimals and fractions. So I need to shade in more than 53 hundredths. So there's 50, and there's 3 more. So I need more than that. So why don't I just do, you can choose your own. But I do have another instruction here. It says it needs to be less than 8/10 of the square. So I have to be less than this much up to the red line, and more than 53 hundredths, which goes up to here. So just choose any random part to shade in between there. So mine's a little bit sloppy, but choose a different number for me. But I'm doing, let's see, this is 67 hundredths is what I shaded in. So 67 hundredths would be written like that as a fraction, and like that as a decimal. And now, this is an interesting one because we have to do more than 11 hundredths, less than 1/4. And you might be saying, well, how do I do 1/4? Well, you just chop it into 4 equal pieces. So there's 1/4, or 4/4 actually. And I need to have more than 11 and less than 1/4. So why don't I just do that much? That's going to give me 15 hundredths. And choose a different one than I did, but that's how you could fill it in. And finally, we've got some multiplication practice. And I would like you, if you're in my class, to do partial products. It has been a while since we did this, so let's review quickly. I will do 9 times 70 first, although you can go the other way if you'd like to. And that gives me 630, then 9 times 8, and then I add those together for my final answer. The 2-digit by 2-digit one, you're going to have 4 products. And this is actually a fun one to do in your head, but let's do it partial products first, and then we can look at that. So I'll start with the 20, and 20 times 30 is 600. And write it nice and neat. And 20 times 9 is 180. And then I'll do the 5. 5 times 30 is 150. 5 times 9 is 45. And then I can add those up. And the answer is going to be 975. The reason I said this is a good one to do in your head, though, is because you're very close to 40 times 25. And if you know that 4 times 25 is 100, you know 40 times 25 is 1,000. Easy. And then you can subtract 25 because 39 is 1 away from 40. And that gives you the same answer. So just a little bit of mental math is good for that one as well. Okay, that's it for the homework, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.